They basically said that because she was drinking so much, it was starting to affect her headspace and her brain. So I think they said it was alcohol-induced dementia. I want the family to become the guardian.
And you guys are ready to take care of her?
100%. As long as she has people around who are yes people, the same thing is always going to occur where she would ultimately just find any excuse to be by herself so she can get back to drinking.
It appears that Wendy Williams' health issues have become worse because her son Kevin Jr. is now weeping outside. Worried about running out of resources now that his mother is reportedly permanently disabled. Wendy is unable to walk, speak, or even. They claim that she is only a shell of the person she used to be since she is suffering from dementia, which is why they are disclosing all of these details. The reason for the current details is the Unpleasant Lifetime documentary, Where is Wendy Williams ever since her show got canceled. People have been snooping around for information regarding her situation, but let me tell you something. A lot of you think that documentary ought never to have been released.
Some of the issues that are being presented in this documentary have been there before, but it just really sped up over the last 2 years or so and just mushroomed into something that felt uncontrollable. She definitely cognitively has some things that are off.
What are the Oscars? Oscars? Yeah. This weekend? What's Oscars? Well, the award show. Would you want to go to an award show and walk the red carpet? Yeah. Oh, you would? Okay.
Wendy Williams has really become the Wendy Williams Show, and it's so hard to see her struggling to live her life and do some of the simple things that she used to enjoy so effortlessly, while it did show us that Wendy's health is legitimately on the decline. What that documentary also told us is that Wendy doesn't have anyone in her corner looking out for her best interest. Her own manager was still talking about how she was good and ready to go and have her own podcast when she is clearly struggling. These people need to stop looking at Wendy like a stack of cash and see her as a declining human. Being who needs all of the care that she can get right now, I really want to believe that Kevin Hunter Jr. misses Mom, because you know Wendy loves her son, no question, and without her, all he's left with is an abusive, aggressive, broke man of a dad who doesn't even know about looking after someone other than himself, or being the active parent that Kevin needs him to be. But at the same time, some people don't really believe Kevin Jr. because Wendy was out here funding his entire life, although he is technically a grown man. Wendy was paid only $85,000 for her documentary, and Lifetime can keep yapping on and on about Wendy giving them consent, but let's keep it a buck. She ain't ever going to give a story like that for just $85,000. What do you mean Wendy let these guys film her get all of these deets and make millions off of her name just for 85 grand? That's something she can make while she sleeps on repeats of the Wendy Williams Show, like, come on, let's be for real. And then there's this whole thing with her legal guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, and while everyone was dragging Sabrina for controlling Wendy, this legal guardian just filed a lawsuit basically saying the same thing, even though Lifetime credited Wendy as an executive. Producer of the documentary, Morrissey, is basically saying that the project took advantage of Wendy. She was diagnosed with early onset dementia and aphasia and didn't have the capacity to consent to being filmed. Lifetime was aware of this. Everyone around her knew what was up. And if you want to play devil's advocate, hear and say they didn't know or they weren't told. All you have to do is watch the documentary for a few minutes and see that Wendy is very vulnerable. All the documentary did was exploit her for their financial gain. After Wendy was diagnosed, Sabrina believed that the project would be halted immediately. Since Wendy didn't sign any contract and wasn't in the right headspace to focus on her career or start up any podcast, everyone from Wendy's publicist to her manager, even her own son, sat down for this documentary, and many believed that they all had a hand in ruthlessly profiting off of her one last time.
Last night, I just feel like some things are better left unsaid or unshown, and I don't know if it's to expose what's happening around her, the people around her and what they're doing to her. If it's for that, I guess I can understand, but I have to be honest, it made me so uncomfortable. I have to turn it off. Like I can't finish watching it. I know part 2 comes out today, but I just feel like there is no reason that we needed to see her in this condition, like with her eyes, her health, the alcohol, every single person that is currently in her life does not have her best interest at heart. And this is so sad to say, but it's like when you're on top of the world, the last thing you think is that you need to get your affairs in order. That's the last thing you think, because you don't think the people around you are plotting against you.
Wendy herself signed the rights over in 2022 to this Lifetime documentary. That same year, Wells Fargo took over saying she was an incapacitated person. You tell me, how could she sign a legal document allowing cameras in your house the same year you're considered an incapacitated person? You have to be compos mentis to sign a legal document like that. Guardians are already suing. This is horrendous and should be taken off the air.
When the legal guardian issue first arose, many believed it would end up like The Poison. We don't know much about the formal guardianship, so we won't delve into the conservatorship that they had Britney Spears under. To jump the gun and give her a lot of credit, but judging by the reports from the courts, she appears to be doing a respectable job of attempting to defend Wendy's interests in this case, but once more, we are unable to truly know what a person's true. Reasons include that only time will tell, but Wendy's family isn't persuaded and thinks she should be in their care, but there's still a chance that her relatives may destroy whatever she left behind, whether it's Liv or her son. Extravagant lifestyle on his mother's money, and although Wendy adores her son and wants the best for him, he doesn't appear to be the kind of man who is knowledgeable about managing assets or upholding the legacy his mother has created. Kevin Jr. has been arguing against the allegations that he has been squandering his mother's fortune, saying that his mother, who has never been frugal, approved of all he has spent.
I've never taken it with the arrogance. I've always spoken to her, and she's always wanted me to spend her money.
I've got so much money. I want it for my son. I want to give some love to my son, Kevin. It's me and you, kid.
And we get that, but occasionally, just because your mother isn't cheap, you need to apply judgment and common sense. This does not mean that you should go out and live as though you have all this money and that it would never run out, especially at this time. That she is no longer able to work. All of this is too much for Kevin to take just yet, and his broke parasite leech of an unfaithful father won't be much. Assist either, and they aren't too pleased with the state of affairs. Wendy's in now quote, "Nobody deserves this." This diagnosis is essentially Wendy's demise. The present is a state of complete confusion. The future is a depressing way to die, and diseases like Alzheimer's are up there with memory loss that fades quickly. Wendy Williams has always had a huge personality, so hearing this is just painful. It's unfortunate to see her dealing with these difficulties. Concluding quotation. Moreover, quotation, I didn't enjoy that Wendy Williams documentary. It was so depressing and manipulative, as if she's still breezy, but only the reflection of the ship she was once. Do you guys believe that her legal guardian was correct to bring that lawsuit? I hope and pray that she gets healthy in the end. And her fortune should be fully accessible to her son. Please leave your ideas in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the future video. Goodbye. Bades.